putting it up on our we will be putting it up on our website for future references as you're filling out your application should you decide to apply for the Ascend.Her Beauty program. So once again, this information session will be recorded. If for whatever reason you have to step away, or you may have to drop early, or there might have been a great important detail that you wanted to get back to, that you might want to have questions on. Once again, you can go to the video that we'll be putting on the website, and you can always go back that and refer to it and go back and forth and look into it as you please for any information purposes that might be helpful. So once again, welcome this morning. In about 1 minute, we'll be in the afternoon and we'll get started. So thank you all again. We'll be starting here shortly.
Hey, Russell, there's a question in the chat about what time the chat is opening. I guess this is, Keisha, is this referring to like when we'll be taking questions?
Yeah, we definitely, we will ask folks to hold off on any questions until the end of the presentation. We have about a 15 or 20 minute Q&A. So anything you have any questions now or with respect to any of the information that we present, we've asked folks to hold off on questions to the end. If there's something that's happening at the very beginning, just jot that down, notate it, and we'll give plenty of time at the end to address those questions. So yeah, we've just asked to hold off. We're hoping that during the duration of the presentation, we hopefully will either touch on or be able to answer those questions. If not, we'll be more than happy to answer those at the end of the presentation.
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Great. Hi. I'm excited to be here. Anyways, I just wanted a few questions. So on the application, it states that you have to submit a video. What type of video you guys are looking for? Like us actually doing hair?
Keisha, hold on. Thank you. So we're excited about your interest in the program, but we're going to let us do the presentation, and then we have a Q&A at the end of this session today. So please hold off your questions to the end, and we'll be more than happy to answer that question. So just hold off. We appreciate your interest.
Cool
We love it.
Cool beans. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much. All righty. Good afternoon, folks. We are going to get started today with our information session for the Ascend.Her Beauty Capital Accelerator Program 2025 edition. Let me take this off of the screen share here so you can see some of our wonderful faces here. Ready.
When I looked at how much we were spending, about $500 a month.
Right. If we could get that muted, right. Dina, I think we can mute those folks. Yeah, appreciate that. Ready.
And just a reminder to keep yourselves on mute so that we can just speak clearly and so that you can hear us when we're talking about the program. That'd be really helpful.
Righty. Okay, all right. Well, once again, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ascend.Her. I am the Education Advisory Services Manager here at WakeUp, and we are excited about presenting today about the Ascend.Her Beauty Capital Accelerator Program. Part of the purpose of today, once again, is to get you all information about the program, what's taking place, the timelines, and to answer any questions you may have about those who are interested in applying or maybe just want to get more information about either the Ascend program or WakeUp in general, or both. So before we get into all that, we have a couple of fantastic folks that will be joining me today to walk through today's information session, tell you more about the program. I'm hand the mic over to my colleagues here, Mari, excuse me, Mari? Excuse someone that wrong through, and my colleague Rahama. So I'll let you two introduce yourselves and then we'll get on with the rest of the presentation.
I'll go ahead and go. My name is Maricela Rodella, lovingly known as Mari. I am the program director for WakeIF's Office of Women's Initiatives, and I am so excited for us to be partnering with the lovely and amazing Rahama Wright for this second Ascend.Her Beauty cohort. And so, Rahama, I will pass it over to you.
Thank you so much, Mari. Hi, everyone. I'm also very excited to do our Ascend Beauty Accelerator 2.0. This is the second time we are bringing fabulous, amazing beauty entrepreneurs together in the DMV. And over the next few weeks, couple of months, we'll be going through a phenomenal program to help and support each of you with scaling and growing your beauty businesses. So the goal of this conversation this afternoon is to tell you more about the program and give you kind of insights into the application process and answer any questions that you may have. But with that, let me introduce myself. My name is Rahma Wright. I am the founder of two companies, Shailene, which is a plant-based body care line I started after serving in the Peace Corps. We create living wage jobs through a line of products that we sell to US-based retailers. As part of our goal is to really connect the dots between African suppliers and consumers here in the US. And by starting that company is what led me to build the Yaleen Beauty Makerspace because of the challenges, issues I had with scaling my business. And I've done everything from bootstrapping to raising venture capital, getting into retail, et cetera. And with that experience and the challenges that I faced, I wanted to build the first shared commercial manufacturing facility for early stage beauty brands and also provide a space for companies to come and really have a supportive environment to help them grow and scale their business. So really excited to partner with WakeUp for the second time to bring this program to you all, and looking forward to learning about your businesses and potentially working together over the next couple of months. Passing it back over to Rasul.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that overview, Rahama, about sort of your orientation and position in terms of the work that you're doing. I am going to see here, share the screen for our presentation. Just give me 1 second here. All right. All right. Oops. All right. Give me 1 second here to get this situated. Oops. There we are. All right, that's what I want the screen to look like. There we go. All righty, awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, as I just mentioned, you all are in for a great treat today. Get you more information about the Ascend Accelerator program in partnership with Yaleen Beauty and Makerspace. We're very, very excited. The agenda today, as we sort of talk about the program, we're going to have a wake-up overview in terms of what the organization does. Then we're going to have Mari come in and share a little bit about the WakeUp's Office of Women's Initiative. Then we're going to have the fantastic Rahama, who you just heard, talk a little bit more about the Yaleen Beauty business and the makerspace that she has built-up design has really expanded here in the Washington, D.C. area. We have a bit of history of the Ascend Capital Accelerator in general. We have an overview of the Ascend.Her program, and then we'll talk about the program timeline, the application process, and then some Q&A at the end if folks have any questions. So just a little bit about WAKEF, high level here. The organization has been around since 1987, and our main business is about promoting equity and opportunity in underserved neighborhoods in the Washington, D.C. area. We primarily have 3 areas that we work with: community wealth building, equitable development, and inclusive entrepreneurship. Those are really sort of our compass orientations in terms of how we're oriented, how we're designed, what we think about, and really the areas that we focus on in terms of the way we show up here in the Washington, D.C. ecosystem, the clients we serve, and the business owners that we support. With some of the more specific offerings, as we sort of get into the products and services that we offer, we provide business financing, loan products, grants and grant opportunities at various times. And those are upheld in various partners that we work with. We have corporate partners that we work with, government partners, and private sector partners, and even other nonprofit entities in terms of those grant opportunities, and just in terms of the different ways within our portfolio that we have to supporting business owners through our grants and loan products. Advisory services, we take the opportunity once again to provide a number of different ways in terms of how that format looks like. One-on-one small business calls and consultations. We have expert open hour programs, and just like a whole slew of different ways that we provide advisory services for clients that are looking for guidance, that are looking for insights, or might be looking for additional resources, whether that be about human resources, strategy, finance, marketing, et cetera. We have those advisory services that those business owners can kind of get a little bit of one-on-one, maybe some curated assistance. We have training that we participate in, and we also provide, Ascend being one of those. We also have a number of different areas that we provide that in. We have an initiative called the Creators Academy for Entrepreneurs, which we provide a lot of digital training. We have some initiatives around AI, which have been very, 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 very popular and very exciting for a number of different reasons. Unless you've been under a rock, which is fine, you can be where you want to be. But if that hasn't been the case, then you're very well aware that AI is everywhere. So we've been providing a lot of insights and training and resources around how to use that for your business. We have a number of different other programs, State of the Ecosystem. We have a Cultivate Women Summit that we've done in the past as well. And once again, as we have here, our Ascend.Her and our regular Ascend cohort, and also a Wealthy Women program as well. And then we have just a lot of community engagement, a community building that we engage in. Our Anacostia Art Center, which is a part of the WAKEF resources that we bring to bear in terms of helping people to connect, gather, place to meet, things of that nature. So once again, it's just a platform that we provide both digitally and then once again through the Anacostia Art Center in real time, in offline, not in a digital space, just a place for us to connect and build relationships with all of you entrepreneurs and business owners out here in the DMV area. And with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic here to my colleague, Mari, to talk a little bit about the WAKEF's Office of Women Initiatives.
Thank you, Russell. So WAKEF has supported women entrepreneurs in the DMV through our general programming for over 35 years. So that's quite a long time to really get a sense of like what the needs are for our community. And we really were excited in 2020 when we received the first funding to actually develop and provide training that is tailored for women entrepreneurs. This was from the Minority Business Development Agency at the Department of Commerce. Building on that work, last year, we actually onboarded the Small Business Administration's Capital Region Women's Business Center. So that business center is new and part of our programming at WAKEF. We will be providing services to new and businesses in planning, which is a first for WAKEF. So that's really exciting for us. So please, if you're interested, check out the Capital Region Women's Business Center on our website. And then basically, because of the success and the need for support for women entrepreneurs, this year WakeIF is actually launching our own Office of Women's Initiatives during Women's History Month in March. And this is really the establishment of an internal office at WakeIF, and our commitment to supporting women entrepreneurs in the DC metro area in a very consistent way. And we'll be bringing the programming that Russell mentioned in reference to the slide before. And one of those programs is Ascend.Her. It's part of our commitment to bringing intentional and tailored programs to women business owners in the DMV. So we are so thrilled and excited to be able to do the Beauty Makers program again. It was so successful in the first year. We did it in 2023. And so we're happy to bring it back with Rahama. So I will hand it over to Rahama to speak a little bit more about her team and the Yaleen Beauty Makers space.
Thank you, Mari, and congratulations on opening up this office. It sounds amazing.
Thank you.
And I have to say that to everyone that's attending this info session, I am a graduate of WakeIF programming. And so I have had a long-standing relationship with WakeIF, and it's been incredible to see how over the last few years, the organization has really grown in scale to support thousands of entrepreneurs in our region. And so when it comes to the beauty space, everyone in here is connected to a beauty business, whether you're in the services or product category. I think it's so important, as one of the pillars of the WakeIF mission is inclusive entrepreneurship. And this is where we sit. We want to create more inclusivity and more access for early stage beauty businesses led by founders who typically are not served, are underserved, to give them access to the tools and resources that they need to scale and grow their business. Next slide. And so the beauty industry has a lot of challenges and issues when it comes to inclusivity. There are a lot of stats on the slide, but the one that I really want us to hone in on is the $2.6 billion opportunity to address racial inequality, which is a McKinsey statistic. In 2022, they released a report showing that in the US, despite the beauty industry being valued at over $60 billion, Black businesses captured less than 2.5% of that number. So they captured less than 1.5 billion, despite Black consumers consuming over 6.6 billion. That number is really important because it shows that we're outspending other demographics when it comes to the beauty industry. Yet our businesses within this sector are not receiving a bigger chunk of the pie, meaning that we're not generating the revenue that we should be based on the way that our community spends. And then there are other systemic issues. I started my company, Shailene, after serving in the Peace Corps, and it was really because of the unethical treatment I saw of women in rural communities in Africa, Mali specifically, who were supplying amazing plant-based ingredients into the global beauty industry, yet they were not able to even make a dollar for their work. And seeing those disparities and seeing women in cycles of poverty is part of the reason I started my brand. And when we look at other areas of the world, so for example, in Indonesia on palm oil plantations, women are very susceptible to abuse. And we consume products that are using these ingredients that need to do better. Companies need to do better. And then when we look at the environment and safety, many of us know that communities of color are highly targeted products that are not good for them. Products that are cancer causing, products that use harmful chemicals. And a study that Harvard released showed that 89% of personal care products are using ingredients that have not been evaluated for safety by the FDA. That's a huge number, right? And so when we think about that, we need to consider that the way we're making our products needs to improve. And then when we also think about the fact that there's so much plastic waste in the beauty industry, over 120 billion pieces of plastic is used annually just in our industry. So that needs to change. We need innovation around sustainability. We need innovation around how we package our products and how that is contributing to some of the waste that we see in the world. Next slide, please. So what is us all saying? This is all saying that businesses like ours, everyone in here is an indie beauty entrepreneur, right? We need help because we care about these issues. All those issues I listed on the previous slide are issues that small micro beauty entrepreneurs care about. We want to use products that are cleaner, that are healthier, that are not creating health issues. We want to use better packaging that's sustainable. We want to make sure that the products that we're bringing to market to our customer are not harming people in the process. And we want to become one of those businesses that's taking a much larger piece of the market share that I was talking about that we aren't currently getting. So we, the indie beauty industry, indie beauty makers, we are the solution. We are the solution to all those problems. But in order for us to scale and grow, we need some help, right? We need help with manufacturing. We need help with access to capital. We need help with technical resources, the knowledge, how to build a beauty business in a way that's sustainable, that's profitable. We need help with connecting to suppliers of these plant-based ingredients that we want to use in our formulations. And we need to address discrimination and disparities within our industry. And then finally, we need help with getting our products to market, getting our products with the right retailers, getting our products with the right sales and distribution strategy to help us grow and scale our business. Next slide. We have a solution for everything that I just talked about. And the solution is the Yaleen Beauty Makerspace. We are designing the first shared commercial manufacturing facility that addresses everything that I just described. A one-stop shop where you can come and connect with a community, connect with service providers, connect with experts, connect with individuals who know how to help you step by step get your business from launch to scale. And how are we doing this? Well, I've been in the beauty industry for over 20 years. On my team, we have Tracy, who is a cosmetic chemist and just recently got her PhD in marketing. We also have Aromia on my team, who does all of our social media awareness and comms. And within our community, we have a long list of technical service providers, warm relationships with our stakeholders and partners that we've worked with over the years to help address every single one of the pain points in a way that is holistic, comprehensive, where people can see results. And this is our second time doing this program with WakeUp. And from the first class of entrepreneurs that we worked with, we've seen entrepreneurs getting into retail. We've seen entrepreneurs winning pitch competitions. We've seen entrepreneurs changing their branding and their packaging and the way they tell their stories. And that's directly from the work that we did with them over the last cohort. So imagine going to a space where you feel seen, heard, and where the people there are all cheering for you and wanting you to be successful in your business. And that's what we're building. Next slide. And so I've already kind of talked about my background, so I don't want to go too much into this, but I built this space with my partners and with my team because of the pain points that I was dealing with building my own business. And I think that that's the most important part of my story and journey is I understand everything that you're going through because I've experienced it firsthand. And so this is a solution and this is a community that we're building that is for us, right? That is for the brand that wants to grow, for the brand that's having these challenges and pain points and wants to go somewhere that gets them, that understands them. And with that, I will hand it back over to Rasul.
Russell, you're on mute.
You can never escape the trappings of digital engagement and the old Zoom show, right? I'm sitting here talking, and of course, nobody can hear me. So once again, thank you so much for that. One of the things I wanted to share just real quickly, and Rahama really kind of spoke to that. There's always a conversation like, well, okay, why should I buy this or why should I participate in that? I always have a decision to make. Should it be A, B, C, what have you? But just to share, and we'll get a little bit, I'll talk about this a little bit later on as a part of the value add that Ascend brings. Rahama was actually very first Ascend Accelerator back in 2000, I think it's 17 is when we kicked off our first program. And Rahama was one of the first folks. And here we are these years later. She's still involved. Obviously, over the years, she's been a resource and has been involved in our alum, just making relationships and establishing networks. But now we've had this innovative relationship in terms of between Yaleen Beauty, Makerspace, and Wakeif. So that's just an indication in terms of when Wakeif says, and our goal is to invest in entrepreneurs, and it's not just for the transactional moment, it's actually a relationship-oriented engagement. And we look at both the short-term, intermediate, and long-term success of entrepreneurs and your journeys. So just wanted to just notate that. It's a great point that I'm glad she brought to the table because once again, all these years later, and Rahama is just one of the many entrepreneurs that we were working with over the past 5 to 6, 7+ years. And once again, we're excited about the ongoing opportunity for folks out here to get into the Wakeif ecosystem and just connect with our resources, build your business, and just continue to engage in those relationships that can help you both personally and professionally. Just want to give a little bit of context in terms of what has been driving or what was driving the initiating of this program. Our then CEO at the time, a gentleman by the name of Harold Pettigrew, was just really into the idea. I think he's a fourth generation Washingtonian. Might be a bit mistake. I don't know if he's fourth or fifth, but definitely multiple generations here in the city and was very much invested in understanding folks of color here and Black folks within Washington, D.C. And part of the research was that he'd engaged in just really understanding the wealth gap, just in terms of households. 81 times African Americans had less wealth than their white counterparts, and then Hispanics having 22 times less wealth than their counterparts. And we all, for various reasons and to different extents, aware of the reasons for some of these challenging sort of economic realities. And so as a part of that, the idea is that, okay, how do we think about investing into our people? How do we invest into underserved communities? And so one of the things that Harold and the team at the time really kind of oriented themselves around was like, if we really think and engage and move through the ecosystem with intentionality, right? And how do we sort of inject into the environment social capital, knowledge capital, and financial capital into these entrepreneurs of color and these underserved communities? Very, very intentional. The impact that we can make from these resources, once again, whether it's social, economic, or educational, it can be much, much more catalytic. So once again, just what does catalytic injection, intentional sort of development, design orientation, what does that look like? What it looks like in reality here is, as just an example, is a Wakeif Yaleen Beauty Makerspace collaboration. So that's just an example of what that means when folks really sit down, look at what's happening in the environment, what are their challenges, and they put their ideas and their resources to play in terms of driving impactful ideas and impactful strategies. And so once again, I just mentioned, we marched in 2017, Rahama being one of those many fantastic entrepreneurs in terms of the inaugural Ascend Capital Accelerator program. And at the time, it was 8 weeks, 4 modules offering 25 entrepreneurs the opportunity to grow and build their businesses. And the accelerator strategy at the time, once again, was like, how do we look at these proven technology venture accelerator models, which at the time, and even now, there's so much activity around tech, which in a lot of ways is everywhere. But at the time, this is like, how do we move just beyond sort of that mindset? How do we look at everyday entrepreneurs and take this technology sort of model and apply it to non-technology focused entrepreneurs? And so even though whether you're in the beauty space or retail or healthcare, everybody is using technology, right? But once again, the whole source and point of what you're doing might not be technology focused, but obviously we are using that. So how do we take those tools and create resources and opportunities, know-how, and educational insights if you're serving displaced populations around immigration, or you're doing working with beauty maker spaces, or you're working with food retailers, or you're some type of influencer focusing on, it could be writing or whatever the case, business or idea or business venture might be. And so in terms of the Ascend.Her Beauty program, it's really the focus is on manufacturing and retail. And once again, as Rahama just mentioned, fantastic initiatives, so much opportunity that's taking place with this particular program. Just wanted to just share a little bit of program overview, sort of to get you a sense of what the program is actually like. There are weekly classes, and they will be starting on March 24th, and they will be ending on May 9th, just to get you all oriented in terms of the timeline. As I say, does that actually work within your schedule as it exists? We have about 8 classes. There will be a mix of virtual and in-person, and we'll speak a little bit about that more in detail a little bit later on. If you have questions around that, entrepreneur feature with real-world examples, real-world experts, just world-class experts. Again, Rahama spoke to that a little bit earlier. Her team is actually fantastic. I mean, when it comes to folks who understand the lay of that land, understand that marketplace, understand that space, honestly, it doesn't get any better than Rahama and her team. Another opportunity going through the program is a membership opportunity with Yaleen Beauty Makerspace. Once again, Rahama can talk a little bit about that a little bit further down the presentation here, should you have any questions. And also, once you go through the program, on the other side, we have post-program support, access, once again, to world-class business strategists, growth consultants, not only with Rahama's team, but from the Ascend side, we have folks all over the country. We have folks all over the DMV, and we actually have folks that are either positioned and or focused internationally. So regardless of sort of what your needs are, sort of how you're oriented, what questions you have, what issues you're trying to address, what your interest is in this marketplace, either through Rahama's team or through us here at Ascend in Wakeif, we definitely have you covered. And in addition to that, wraparound offerings as a part of the program, kind of mentioned that as well. We have access to programming, post-program advisory support. I mentioned that a little bit earlier on in terms of what Wakeif supports in general. There's the opportunities for check-ins for small business advisory team. Once again, that one-on-one touch. Ongoing resources for growth and development. That could be advisory coaches, consultants, financial expertise, all kinds of information and things that you didn't even know you might have needed or were even aware of as you're building your business. And one of the most important things I would easily say is in the top 10, maybe arguably in the top 5, building, expanding, and cultivating your network. Absolute fantastic opportunity to do that through this program. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, but coming back to this idea of like, what is the reason why I should participate in this? I could go anywhere in the world. I could just continue building my business. Why should I spend any time with Rahama and Rasul and Mari and the rest of the Ascend.Her Beauty team? As I just mentioned, long-term partnership and extended relationship building, just as the obvious example in front of you today, our long and ongoing relationship with Rahama. And once again, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I could probably sit here all morning and afternoon, tell you about the different relationships we have with different folks, either through our lending clients and or those who have gone through our Ascend programs, or just a number of different other initiatives that we have been building up over the years here. We have lots of long-going, extensive and expansive relationships. There's a supportive and holistic approach. Rahama mentioned that earlier. This is not necessarily just about, okay, how do we help you improve your spreadsheets? How do we actually look at your marketing plan? We look at the bigger picture. How do you build your confidence? What does it mean to be a leader in the business space? What it means to showing up in an authentic way? All these things that really helps to build a business and the business leader, the CEO or the chief strategist or whomever the title might be. How do you show up in a way to really expand your business? How do we help you build and think about not just as a startup founder, but also as a CEO, as an actual leader for your business and a leader in industry? Those are the type of things that you'll get through the program. We're very, very much high and very much intentional in thinking about trust and community building. One of the things that if any of us can just think in our own lives, like one of the ways that you actually can grow and develop and move responsibly and comfortably through spaces is having folks that you can trust. these intimate questions that you might be concerned about, or you have a big decision that it could be life or death in terms of the growth and development of the business, and you really need a trusted advisor, a trusted relationship that can help you make some really tough decisions. And this is a space where we can help cultivate that for you, to really help you move some of these challenging opportunities or challenging moments that might be happening at any point in time as you're building your business. And as Rahama mentioned earlier, and we are very, very keen on this, creating a space for vulnerability, independent of the current environment, which we're all sort of privy to right now. There's always these spaces where how do we show up authentically? How do we actually present, engage, and discuss things that might be uncomfortable? So imposter syndrome comes up for all of us for various reasons. Lack of confidence to really say, hey, you know what? I know what I'm doing and I can assert myself. Those are all kinds of challenges. I need the pitch, but I am scared to death of talking in front of people. All these things that you need to be authentic about and vulnerable, and being able to come to the table and say, hey, I'm not that great in this. And it's okay. Saying this is a place for growth. This is a place for you to get education. This is a place for you to support and share your own expertise. One of the things we always talk about during the program is you guys out here building businesses. You're not empty vessels in which the folks at Ascend and our partners, we're just pouring knowledge into you. It is a space for collaboration. It's an opportunity for us to learn from you. It's an opportunity for you to learn from us. And it's just a space for us to share our war stories, our war successes, our war failures in terms of how we've been growing and trying to really build our different enterprises. So it's a space to show up being vulnerable, being authentic about what you know and don't know, and not being scared to share that. Because if you're not really being open about what you don't know and then putting that out there, we can't really fill in those spaces and give you those tools and resources, and once again, take your business to the next level. Just to share, just in terms of what have folks been saying about the program. And as Rahama mentioned earlier, our inaugural Ascend.Her beauty program was in 2023. And this is just a fraction of the feedback that we got. One of the things we always do is to get information. What did you like? What did you not like? How can we improve it? And so these are just a couple of snapshots of what folks said about the program. My favorite part of the program was being able to collectively work together with other members of the program, having the speakers and Rahama talk to us. It was just really priceless. All the information had an immense amount of value. It helped me to piece everything together to construct my official business plan. It gave me better awareness of my brand and my goals. And just my favorite part of the program was the mentorship. And I talked about this earlier, right? There's folks are trying to go from point A to point Z. And so how do you do that? A big part of that is getting mentors, getting advisors. And this individual was just saying it was very nice to hear from individuals who had already been in the industry, know what they're doing, have the right orientation, and they can really provide that insight and those expertise to kind of help you think differently and think bigger, broader, more strategically about your brands and your business. Just to talk a little bit specifically about the expectations, if you do become a part of the cohort program, sort of once again giving you some information about how you're oriented and what the expectations and what you should be prepared to do should you become a cohort participant in the program. You should be positioned to commit up to 10 hours per week during the cohort period. That will give you time dedicated to work on a workshop participation, assignments, class readings, technical assistance meetings, all the types of work that might be involved during the workshop trainings during each week. You must be committed to attending all of the sessions and any of the program assignments and work assignments that might take place during that. Part of the deliverables at the end of the program is to create a growth plan, a one-year growth plan. So you must be ready and positioned to do that as well. Be open to building relationships. Sometimes it might be real. Folks say, hey, you know what? I'm not confident, or I'm not quite sure I know what I'm doing. And so maybe I should talk more to you about the program. And maybe I'm just not ready to, networking still isn't my thing. It scares me to death. And I still have to think about that. And that's fine. That's not a problem. Or maybe you're saying, hey, this is a challenge for me, but I'm ready to assert myself in this space. We definitely want folks coming to the table, being open-minded to building relationships, expanding your network, and just really being open to building your relationship and sharing your expertise and your stories with others. And so if you're ready to do that, once again, I think this is a fantastic opportunity to do that. and then also attending networking activities outside of your training sessions and your classroom trainings, just being open to that. So really just being in the space of like, hey, to a degree that you're comfortable, we're not asking you to expose all your secrets, but being open to sharing your story with your cohort members and being open to just really sharing your knowledge and your information and even sharing your challenges, because that might be a learning experience for one of your cohort members to really help them be centered in what they're doing and really provide some fantastic and valuable insights in terms of like this business journey that we're all on. Eligibility requirements are very important. This is also on our FAQ page on the website in case you want to take a look at that there. But you have to at least own the business for at least 2 years. If it's underneath that, we'll look on a case-by-case basis, but priority will be given to those folks who've been operating for at least 2 years. Have to be registered in DC, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Howard County, Arlington, Alexandria, and Fairfax City and County as well. You have to represent an independent, local, and women-owned small business and have at least $10,000 in annual sales. Significant attention will be given to businesses and priority to those in Ward 7 and 8. But once again, if you're from Maryland or if you're in Virginia or outside of any of those wards, there is still opportunity for you to participate. We just want to share that some priority will be given to those should that be the case. But once again, all of our program participants are from all over the DMV area. Just to give a sense of application time, January 27th, applications opened. And obviously today is the information session. Applications will be closing on February 21st. Periodically, various reasons, we might extend those dates by maybe a few days or a week. I would not count on that per se. I would definitely plan for the applications to be closed on February 21st, just to make sure that you're within time frame. But there's, things beyond our control can always happen, especially if we're in today's environment. Things are just a lot of disruption is happening. So we're trying to be as flexible as possible, but also we want to try to stick to the calendar date once again, because if we're communicating that to you all, we want to be able to have you all understand your schedules accordingly. Then from February 4th through March 7th, we'll be having candidate interviews. And then on May 17th through the 19th, we'll be looking at notifications of acceptance. Actually, I think that's March. I think that's incorrect. I think March 17th, May. I think that's March. I think 17th to 19th. So a little typo there, not May, but March. So excuse us on that. Program timeline for the actual program itself. We will be launching the actual cohort event, the cohort program on March 20th. And then on March 24th through March 7th, March 24th through May 7th, I'm sorry, another typo there, we have the training workshop. So that's March 24th through May 7th will be the actual training workshop. And then on May 15th will be the actual graduation. And with that being said, look at that. According to our own sort of timeline, we're ended right on the spot with about 15 minutes for Q&A. So if folks had any questions, anything that you want to get some additional information on with respect to what we covered today, or Wake Up in general, or just some more information about Rahama and her team and their work, this is the opportunity to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and close my mouth and see if there's any folks that have any questions that they'd like to ask, and either myself or my esteemed colleagues here can be able to answer those questions for you.
Hi, Tia. This is Tia. do have a question. When you say a business in good standing, can you explain what that means? Is that a business license, a LLC with the state or city? Could you explain that, please?
Yes, absolutely. Good standing would mean more or less, sometimes there's some businesses that may have to owe taxes, or for various reasons from a regulatory standpoint, they're not able to operate. So if you owe businesses or DC or Virginia, whomever, saying, hey, you can't operate because you owe us money or something to that effect, that's usually what the problem is. The taxes aren't up to, haven't been paid. For this particular cohort program, that might not be so much of the case for various reasons, but that's usually what we mean by good standing, making sure that there's nothing that's binding you legally in terms of finances you owe or anything that would sort of from a legal perspective. So, but if you don't have an LLC Once again, part of the program is for businesses that have been operating. So if you're still in concept phase, you don't have an established LLC or Inc. or what have you, you can still apply. But once again, the program is really going to be for those businesses that are established. They've been doing business for some time, and they're really positioned to take advantage of what we have of the expertise and the insights and just the knowledge that both Wake and Rahama are bringing to the program. So does that answer, is that a bit clearer for you?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
I can
Any
take
other
the
questions?
question that Jessica just dropped in the chat. Hi, Jessica. So the program doesn't get you into retail per se. What it helps you do is understand the steps and processes to prepare yourself to be retail ready. And so some of the companies that did get into retail from the last program, they essentially took the advice that we gave them around like packaging updates, around branding and storytelling, and also understanding the steps of getting onto a shelf. So it's more preparation versus, oh, we have X number of retailers that are ready to buy your products. Just want to clarify that. But however, one of the things we will have in our maker space is a little retail area. And so when we launch that, we'll review all brands that are a fit to be in the retail section of our space. And Aromia is on the call as well. And we run a pop-up. We do pop-ups throughout the city, and we're currently running one at Walter Reed at the parks. It's a new development at the old Walter Reed hospital location. And so we always look at different brands to bring into that location as well. And that one will be running through July. And every year we do 1 or 2 pop-ups a year.
Hi there. This is Nick. Can I go next? Is that okay?
Oh, yes.
Hey
Hi.
there. Okay, so I actually put my 2 questions in the chat, but I want to piggyback off really quickly, Miss Wright, what you just mentioned about the pop-up. How could we find out more about that?
So I will, if you go to the DC pop-up on Instagram, you'll see a
Okay.
link. And that link points you to how you can fill out the form to connect with Aromia.
Okay. And when is the next one, you said?
So we're doing one right now currently, and it's through July.
Okay. So you said the handle is the DC pop-up. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Somebody put it in there. Thank you. Okay. So my 2 questions, thank you for answering that. My first question is the 10K revenue requirement. Is that accumulative for the 2 years for, I guess, startup businesses? And then the other question is about the good standing certificate. Is that to be submitted with the application, or is that something that's given after, I guess, you guys decide on who you're going to bring on board for the program?
If you one of the things, if just part of, it's not a requirement one way or another. If the business isn't in good standing, it sort of pops up. But if as a part of that you have that, or you want to submit that as a part of your application, and just that's fine. We don't require that per se. We just part of the orientation around this is, and this is what's great about about this information session, is that to a degree, they're sort of like, we're trusting that these business owners that are applying, that you're coming to the table in good faith. So if you're saying that, hey, my business is good standing, but it's not, at some point it will be found out, and all that do is going to do brand debt damage and relationship damage between us and that business that sort of came to the table knowing they weren't in good standing but applied anyway. So if you have some documentation that states that won't
Okay.
harm at all. But part of it, we're not requiring that. We're just saying, hey, in good faith, we're you know we're hoping and expecting that you have, as a business owner, you're coming to the table with integrity, and that, you know, you're not in bad standing, and that's just part of the process. But if you want to submit that, that's not a problem. We wouldn't say no, don't do that. That's up to you. But it wouldn't hurt if you wanted to do that.
Okay, so we're registered in the state of Maryland. Do we need to also, Russell, register in DC, or will Maryland be sufficient?
Maryland will be sufficient as long as you're operating and your place of business is in Virginia and the counties we mentioned, or Maryland and DC. That should be fine. Yeah, that should not be an issue.
Okay, and then far as the 10K revenue requirement, can you just give a little bit more details on that? I think I understand, but I'm not really sure.
Absolutely. So part of it is if you made 10K in 2024 and then 10K in 2023. So the reason for that is that we're showing there's some consistency. And once again, we're not trying to create too much of a high bar. And that's just a minimum. If as a business you're making beyond that, that's fine. But once again, sort of that floor that we want to incorporate is at 10K per each year. So it's not 5K in 2023 and 5K in 2024. It would be 10K in the previous year and then 10K in the year before that. So 2023 and 2024. So both years together to sort of do the easy math.
Cumulative.
Yeah, it would be
Okay.
cumulative would be 20,000.
So what if you have not reached that threshold? Like what if you are just starting out? Do you all still give startup businesses an opportunity, or you have this revenue requirement has to be met?
Yeah. You can submit that application. The requirements. So if folks say, well, why didn't I get into the program? You know, one of the conversations say, well, we had X amount or this amount of spaces that we have is for 15 entrepreneurs. We say there were 15 entrepreneurs outside of this particular business that were able to meet the threshold. And so that is the requirements. And for various reasons, which rarely happen, it could be that, you know, there's a really compelling story or what have you. So we don't want to encourage folks to not apply, but we just want to say that the businesses that meet this threshold, they are going to get priority. And that if you don't meet the requirements, that's up to you. If you want to, you know, there might be some learning or some type of knowledge you're getting just in the application process. I know that's happened to me just in terms of thinking about my business, writing, understanding like how do I present. If you want to do that, that's fine. But just you know, if you haven't met those thresholds, the expectation would be that there's likelihood that you won't get in because you don't meet those requirements. So we just want you to go in fully aware of what the requirements are. But if for whatever reason you still want to apply, you're more than welcome to.
And a little more context about the reasoning for those thresholds. We have found through previous programming that businesses that are you know, established a little bit more actually tend to get a little more out of the program. They are able to connect with the content in a way that is different from businesses that are just starting up. So that is why we have those thresholds. And like Russell said, there may be some flexibility depending on who's applying, but I think that it just think about that in terms of like what your, you know, expectations are for this program.
And just to share, and Rahama, if you wanted to add to this, you can or not.
Mhm.
But if you look at the curriculum that, once again, Rahama, the team has put together, it's all about, okay, if I'm going to invest my time in a week, 10 weeks, but whatever the time is, I want to be able to maximize my time and experience in this. And the curriculum is such that there will be required some amount of like, I know to some degree who my customers are. I've kind of have some idea of just like my formulations to some extent, but there has to be some level of knowledge about, you know, what you're doing that way. Because the point of the program is to improve what you're already engaged in to a degree. But Rahama, I don't know if you want, once again, obviously you put together the curriculum, this is your space. If you want to add some more context to that, more than happy to defer to you on some of the specifics around that.
Yeah, no, I think a couple of things that I would add, and this is based on just my experience applying to programs, accelerators, etc. Never say no to yourself, right? So if you feel like you have a strong case that this program will be helpful to you in growing your business, and you apply. The criteria and the things that we have is a guide, but it's not like one size fits all. And so I just encourage everyone to apply, even if you're not there yet. And I've always learned that going through an application process actually gives me the ability, even if I don't get into the program, to use that to get into another program, right? And so the exercise of just going through the application process will be beneficial to you. And so I encourage everyone to apply. We understand that many folks are in the early stage, startup, that's why the revenue, the minimum revenue is fairly low. But, when I first started out, I didn't make 10K my first year, right? So I get it. And so I really encourage you to apply if you believe this program will help you. And it's a matter of telling your story and making the case for your company and for yourself, right? So I really do encourage that. And then when it comes to the certificate of good standing, lots of early stage businesses don't even know what that is and don't even know what their status is, if they are in good standing or not. And so I think that, to what Rasul was saying, it's not going to be something that you have to necessarily verify. But even if you're not in good standing, I think being able to communicate, hey, I am not in good standing, but I'm working on it, helps us, right? So communicate that. We're building a community. We know that there are a lot of regulations and requirements that many folks just aren't aware of. And so I think the transparency and the communication is much more valuable than just not even putting, not even applying because you don't know if you have that or not, right? And what was the last question, Russell? I can't remember.
I have a,
There's a
hi, I have
there's
a
a
question.
great
Hi,
question.
I'm
Oh,
Kaisha Williams. How are you guys?
Hi, good. How are you?
Hi, good. I'm glad you guys are talking about the beauty cohort, and I'm very interested into that. However, we are facing different challenges. Again, I think that someone, I don't know, I just joined again. Um, I want to know, do you guys have a website for you guys pop-ups? That's the first question. So are you guys, did
Yeah,
you guys develop
it's the
a
DC pop-up.
okay, for
So
beauty within the beauty industry?
So the pop-ups are just a retail program that we do that encompasses everyone. So we work with companies in the DMV, mostly DC based, to do everything from beauty, personal care, apparel, jewelry, home goods. And it's something that we've been running since 2018. Um, so that is separate from the Yaleen Beauty Makerspace, which is our newest and latest initiative that is specifically focused on beauty businesses. And this is
Correct.
where we're building a facility to help with manufacturing, teaching, training, and also helping brands with addressing their pain points so that they can grow their business. And we're doing this program in partnership with WakeF.
So the beauty ascent, I'm sorry,
The
cohort
Ascend.Her
is
Beauty Club.
directly specific to the beauty industry. And when I say beauty industry, I mean hair, nails, skin. I just want to identify the beauty term, if
Yep.
that makes sense.
So beauty, to your point, is a very broad definition, but essentially it covers personal care products, so hair care, face care, body, and also beauty, like color cosmetics, right? Our makerspace focuses on the personal care and wellness, and as well as like home goods, so like candles, room sprays, things of that nature. That's what our facility will be able to do. We're not necessarily heavy into color cosmetics, but this accelerator program with WakeF, the last cohort, we had folks in services, right? It is geared heavily, the curriculum is geared heavily towards product-based businesses, I will say that. But we did have some service-based businesses that were considering bringing products in, for example. And so that definition is broad, but I hope how I've explained it is helpful in terms of what our focus is.
Absolutely, absolutely. Next question, because I just want to piggyback on what you said. You have people that um do product and you have people that actually do the services. You get what I'm saying? And then you
Mhm,
have some people that actually combined it.
mhm.
As far as the application, I feel like it's limited. I don't feel like the application process is okay, so I can answer all the questions until you get down to the video. Is it possible instead of us submitting the application, we could just submit a PowerPoint that touches all the bases that's in the application, that's what's in the application? Does that make sense?
So the application process, and I will defer to Mari and Rasul, is a standard process because we are evaluating everyone using a standard criteria. And so we do require you to go through the way the application is designed. And the reason why we have the video is for you to like tell us other stuff, right? For you to, if you feel like there's gaps in the application process, that's the video is your opportunity to tell us more. And you can be as
I,
creative as you want to be in that video process.
I I feel like the application that you guys have online just touches bases if you're incorporated or not, if you're licensed or not, and if you have the education to get you there. That's what I feel like the application is based on, if
No,
that
no,
makes
yeah, no problem, Keisha. That we understand the if this is the other orientation around this. Um, just like a house isn't for everybody, an apartment isn't for everybody. Some people don't like cars, people don't like bikes, and that's fine. And so if you look at the application and you feel it doesn't reflect what you would like to see, that is fine. There's many other opportunities to engage with WakeIF. We have so many different programs. The cohort model isn't for everyone for a lot of different reasons. It might not be you're like, well, I don't really feel this reflects how I can show up, and that is fine. Like this is not a perfect process. We have been running this program pretty successfully for, like I said, since 2017, and there are times when people feel that this isn't a right fit for them, and that is perfectly fine. So if it isn't reflecting sort of
congratulations.
in terms of what you need, then
Congratulations.
that's not a problem. Like I said, there are other opportunities for individuals who are interested in Wake Up
Mhm.
to insert yourself into our programs and continue to get guidance on building your business, guidance on marketing, guidance on startup costs, guidance in terms of just, once again, building, developing, and growing your enterprise. So
Russ,
I know there was
can,
another
oh,
question here.
can
I'm
I?
sorry. There was another
Yeah.
question that was around the time, which is very important, of when the courses will taking place. They will be in the late afternoons, early evenings. I believe like a 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock time frame. Muhammad, did you want to sort of speak to that time frame that you're going to be putting together for the trainings?
Yeah, and so it's going to be a 8-week program. And we've designed it to be on Tuesday afternoons, and we're targeting kind of like later afternoons, early evening. And some of the sessions will be in person, and we will confirm if those sessions will be in person at the Makerspace, which is on Benning Road Northeast, or if it will be at the Anacostia Art Center. So that's something we'll have that figured out before we start the program at the end of March. And the way that we've designed it based on feedback from the last group, we're shortening the actual training sessions so that we can make room for more one-on-one consultations and office hours. But essentially, when you look at the curriculum and kind of the overview of what the topics are going to be, it's very much designed to help you with issues around regulations in the regulatory environment for small businesses, product formulation, and really figuring out like how you can make a great product utilizing the requirements of like the FDA and some of those technical things. Marketing and branding, how are you showing up, right? if you need to change things with your packaging, what that could look like. And then sales, distribution, financial modeling, and just really figuring out the financial health of your business. And so those are just some of the things that we'll touch upon. I won't be the only one doing the training. We'll have experts come in on specific topics to train with you. I guess that is a very broad general overview of what the sessions are going to look like. We really encourage everyone to come to every single session. And there will be homework before sessions that you'll have to do, or after sessions, we'll have homework that we'll discuss at every single session that we lead. And this is a way to just really kind of give you guys structure to actually implement and take what we're teaching and put it into practice as you're going through the program. And ultimately, at the end of it, you'll have a growth plan or action plan that you can implement right away. So that you can say, okay, 3 months after the program, this is what happened with my business. 6 months after the program, this is what happened. A year after the program, this is what happened.
Miss Ray, I know we're wrapping up. I just got another question. So I'm a soap maker. I have a natural body care product company. And the reason why I asked about the revenue is because I closed my business down for a few years and we just getting back started. So
Okay.
that's why I wanted to make sure that I still would qualify. And I'm going to apply. I don't know, but I'm going to apply. And then my other question, to piggyback off the classes, in the event for some odd reason, something can happen, life is crazy today. We just never know from one day to the next what can happen. In the
Right.
event that one is not able to attend the class, will these classes be recorded? Will we have access to the curriculum and or homework? Like, what are the options for those of us that may not be able to make every single class?
So I will let Rasul answer that question, but I will say this. If we notice that a person is not showing up, that will be a reason to not continue to have you in the program. And that is not to be strict or, punitive. We want people who are committed to growing their business and who can carve out the time. Granted, things happen, emergencies happen, we understand that, but we're pretty firm on if you're going to join this program, you're committing to attending all 8 sessions.
Yeah, and that's great input on that. And to add to what Rahama was mentioning, this is one of the reasons we're having this information session, so folks have an understanding what is the expectation should you get into the program, what's happening and why. And we're very well understand, and it's happened multiple times. Life happens, folks have deaths in the family, personal tragedy, those things are unforeseen. And we've had other spaces where people have been absent 2 and 3. Oh, you know what? I got a meeting today. I said, you kind of know your schedule. And so if you know that your schedule can be erratic, then that might be paused. Like, you know what? I have meetings that pop up all the time at the last minute because of the nature of my business. This might not be the best time for me to participate in this. And so once again, uh, part of the orientation is in center of gravity is like take a real assessment of where you are in terms of your availability to participate in this program. Because if you're there and you're not participating fully because you didn't really think about it thoroughly, that means you've taken the space of someone else who could have really been in the program and taken advantage of it. So this is part of the conversation. We want to share that. Really look at your schedule. Can you really participate? And it's only 8 sessions, and it goes by fast. Missing one week can be a lot. Missing 2 and 3, that's a problem. And so, as a part of the requirement, we will have you sign a sort of acceptance letter. And the acceptance letter, it says that you're allowed 1 absence, unforeseen, life happened, what have you. But beyond that, once again, we've been doing this for some time, and so it's very rarely do like folks having this like, hey, I have an emergency today, I have another emergency the next week. Once again, we've been doing this long enough, and we're not creating this on the whim. This is something we're very experienced in. But once again, we do try to be flexible. And if for various reasons folks have to leave 10 minutes before or they're joining in late, that's fine. It's about being communicative. But just to be wholesale absent 2 and 3 classes, that just becomes a problem. That just becomes a problem. And I do want to address, go ahead, Ron.
Oh, no, I just wanted to, and I know we're running over, I will be fast, but I want to make sure people understand that this program is being paid for by partners, right? Who are giving grants to WakeF and, service providers to address inequality in entrepreneurship, to address helping entrepreneurs who don't have the ability to pay a consultant tens of thousands of dollars to help them grow their business. And so this is subsidized, and this is like really, really great programming that none of you are paying for because someone else is paying for it. And so I want to make sure that people know this. And, I've been invited to do programs where for an hour of my time, someone's paying me $5,000. So I'm sharing that, because I want you to know that this level of like intentional investment in you helping to build your business is not free labor. It's something that people are writing checks for and investing in. And so that's why we're a bit strict on showing up, because we all know what it takes to run these programs. They're expensive, and it's free to all of you. None of you are going to have to pay for it. So that commitment is kind of like your payment.
No, absolutely. Well said, Rahama. And the other reason we really want folks to be committed is, I mean, it's of no cost to the cohort members, but this is world-class training. I mean, I'm more than comfortable to stand this up to anything at Goldman Sachs. I mean, you can talk to Rahama herself. She's been involved in programs, initiatives, and entrepreneurs domestically and internationally. And what WakeF we put together here with our partners is world-class, bar none. And I won't even hesitate to say it. And so be really contemplative about, is this for you? Is this a space that you want to take up, and be fully present and fully participatory in that space? And so we're very, very centered and very focused on bringing the best amount of value. Because number one, I've been an entrepreneur. I'm even ongoing in conversation with other entrepreneurs. And we, Rahama, myself, Mari is a business owner. We understand what it takes to run and build and develop and grow your business, and it's tough. And we're very aware of this. And so we're really encouraging folks to come in and be ready, dedicated, because we understand and we want these resources to help you grow, because we understand the challenges, and we're very dedicated to making sure that you're successful. So just wanted to put that on the table. Last thing, and then we're going to wrap up here. I really want to address it because it is coming up. We understand that some folks say, hey, we don't meet the requirements. I just want to go back to re-emphasize. Part of what we want to do is set the expectation for what orientation, what disposition, what knowledge is going to make the most sense and be useful for this program. Now, if you don't meet those requirements, that's fine, but just know that, are you ready to stretch yourself to sort of be in a space where, like, you know what? Okay, I have to really think hard about this, because I might not be there, but I need to be thinking like, okay, if I'm not making 10,000 or whatever, okay, how do I sit and assess myself? How do I dedicate the time to growing my business to this space? So once again, we're not super stringent. Like, if you don't meet it, you're not going in. We're just letting you know that the materials that will be covered, this is the center of gravity, this orientation of learning. This is sort of what, to a certain degree, with the knowledge that would be shared. And if you don't meet that, that is fine. Just know that you will be stretched, right? You will be expanded, and that's a part of growing, and that's fine as well. So just wanted to share again, if you don't meet those requirements, please still submit your applications. Once again, for various reasons, a business that doesn't meet that might get in for a number of different reasons. But if you don't, but we have a diversity of businesses. We have different businesses, different orientations, been in business different times, and there's not a one size fits all, as Rahama mentioned earlier. All I can share is and definitely request submit. And like Muhammad said earlier, there's a learning that even happens just in going through the application process. You have to think about the business. Okay, what am I challenged with? What is my value proposition? And going through that process is very valuable. So whether you meet the required criteria or not, I would personally invite you to submit your application, because you never know. I mean, you just never know. So we're communicating here that we are flexible for various reasons. That being said, everyone knows that the businesses that will take priority are the ones that meet the requirements, but then we're not steadfast and like really, rigid about the businesses that get into the program. So hopefully that's insightful, that's helpful. The video will be up for folks who want to go back and listen to it. Send your questions to wakeup at programs. I think it's wakeup@programs.org. Matter of fact, hold on, let me actually advance the slide here. Visit the website here, wakeup.org. Visit our socials, Wake Up DMV. If you have any questions for myself or for Rahama, once again, you can reach her on her digital contacts here, YalinBeauty.com, @YalinBeauty, so on and so forth. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much for your time, folks, today. Thank you for hanging out with us. 15 minutes beyond, but I think that's fine for us. We're here to answer your questions, making sure you have a full, comprehensive understanding of the program, expectations, who can and who might and may not be able to apply and why. And once again, just give you a full understanding about the program and sort of the intentions behind this and our real objectives in providing this service and this opportunity for you as business owners and entrepreneurs that are really doing dynamic things out here in the marketplace. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing your applications. And Mari has one more comment to make before we
The email, if you'd like to ask us questions, is programs@wakeup.org.
Yeah, programs@wakeup.org. Absolutely.
So please send your questions, and thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good one. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Appreciate your time.